Hello.
Hello,
Hi.
hello. Welcome back to Uploaded Tech News Comedy, podcast and YouTube channel, much to Silas's chagrin. He hates it so much.
No, not anymore because it's video now. A little bit I hate it still, yeah.
Sure.
We're back with another episode.
Something lewd hone a joke. I did not have time to prepare anything else. That will have to be it for this week. Who knows?
Okay.
The whole episode left. Who knows the places we'll go? Who knows?
A whole episode? No. You can't upload pornography on YouTube, sod. No hold in this episode. The whole episode. That's the funniest thing I've said in my life. That's absolutely not.
I would hope not, because, oh boy.
I've said
I'm
better
just-
things. I've said better things. Mostly racist things.
God
That's
damn
a
it,
joke.
Silas.
That's a joke. I don't say racist things too often.
Hello,
Hello, Indians. Hi. I like
and
having you as
again,
listeners. Hi.
And this guy's cancelled, and we'll just have to not respond to it in any way.
No.
Not concede, no double down, and they will just
Yeah.
fade with time. If they get no response whatsoever, it's powerless. Anywho, let's see.
Maybe people notice that I've finally set up a light, so it's not going to be looking completely crap like the other episodes have.
I'm going to be honest with you, viewers at home. We only see a quarter resolution of what's at each other, so I am scarcely noticing a difference.
Yes. I had this turned off before, or it wasn't even there, this light. It looked really bad. Now I think it looks less bad.
Yeah, even I have to use like a light myself, despite using a VTuber model, just like to get rid of shadows on my face. That way the tracking is better. I also had like up all the settings to 80% or something for mouth movement and whatnot, and I feel like it's a lot more fluid now. What do you think, Silas?
I mean, looks like it moves. My main problem with your models has been that the mouth doesn't move at all when you talk.
Yeah, it's
For
doing
a
it more now.
while. It's doing it more now, yeah.
Yeah,
I like
isn't always
VTubers who
the way.
have like animated looking faces, but I don't think it's just about settings. It's probably also about like using it. I remember when I used the standard regular face rig model thing, I would talk like more exaggerated with my mouth and eyes and everything, because then it would move more, and that's more interesting to look at than fucking floating around PNG that doesn't move at all, barely.
The problem is I got slightly, puffy cheeks, and a natural, frown, just default frown. So, like, tracking is a bit of an issue. Like, I have to exaggerate a smile for it to even twist up, and because of that, my mouth just doesn't look like it opens a ton when I'm talking, so the tracking struggles with that.
I wonder
Yes,
how
it really
many
does.
people. I wonder how many people have seen you in like a store or something, and you just stand there like with your neutral face, and how many people are like, "Oh, what is this dick's problem? What the fuck?"
Yeah, that's actually like a legitimate thing.
Oh.
Never assume, listeners,
Oh,
a
no.
person's emotional state until you've heard them talk. A, to pick up on the
Yeah.
tone of the voice, and B, like, what are they saying? That can inform you, like, oh yeah, this is just a dick with a sour disposition. Or
Yeah.
it could just be someone with a resting bitch face. That's a thing. You never know. You never know. They could just have a naturally sour disposition when the face is resting. But they could be a very nice, jolly person. You never know. Don't make assumptions until you actually hear them start going on about shit. Anywho,
That's true. Okay.
where were we? We had some topics to go into, didn't we?
I don't know how new these things are now. I think some of these are things that we could have covered last week, but because I wasn't here, because I was chilling in France.
Yeah, did you have a good time?
Mostly, yes. there was like some stupid shit that happened. Oh, I dropped the pen from the. Where is it here? I don't know where my graphics tablet is. I have a drawing tablet, which I use for mousing sometimes. I don't know where that is, but the pen is there.
Mine is like literally right in front of me, but I need to make time to learn how to draw, especially for season 4, which we're now like only 5 months away from. And I want new outfits for that as well. So,
oh, you know what? I just remember something. Oh no, I think we're too late.
What? And I will also say, just while you're looking things up, as the podcast / YouTube channel grows and grows, a lot of people are going to be hearing about stuff from us first. So don't feel like it's ever too late to cover something. There's always going to be people hearing it from us first. What? What? Oh, what's broken you up like this?
Oh no, okay. Da, 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 da. So remember when we said, oh cool, there's a Knockout City last season, we should probably stream that together.
No! Go on vacation! No,
it was done even before that. It ended on the 23rd of May.
Oh, god damn. None of us remembered.
On the 23rd of May.
Christ, I should have added that to the schedule.
That sucks.
Yeah. Damn. Oh, you can always make a private server.
Yeah, if they have. Yeah, I haven't looked into that yet. I remembered that like last week. But then I was afraid to look up when it ends.
Damn.
Yeah, so the last season ended on the 23rd of May, and then they completely shut it down on the 6th. Like the servers and everything, like the, I guess, stats and whatever else was left. That is fairly shit, but
yeah, especially because it's like one of the more unique multiplayer games. So that sucks. Anywho.
Really fun. Yeah, anyways. France. Yay. I like it.
Yeah.
I like that area.
I've also mentioned Silas. I'm finally getting around to Sonic Frontiers. I finally bested Sekiro. It was like a 7-hour stream of just boss after boss, because that's all that was left. That was all that was left in the game.
Oh, now I need to watch your streams. Oh, no. That's crap.
For those of you that know, Demon of Hatred, he was a lot. He was a lot. So was Owl again. Those were a lot. The final boss of the game was downright pleasant in comparison to those two. Like, really fun and engaging. The other two were just so much. Oh, so much.
Like your Sonic Frontiers.
Oh, no.
Who doesn't like a game where the final boss takes 30 seconds? That's only partly true.
Oh, God, that sounds bad. Again,
Yeah,
like, the final boss didn't take
see.
30 seconds. You still have to do a lot, but it's like, it's fun, engaging. You can actually do stuff and take initiative, whereas like in the other ones, you basically have to respond to those other two bosses. And whenever you do find an opening, a lot of the time they're just like hipscotch away from you, so you can't take advantage of it, which is really frustrating. Anywho, you got some rambling topics to get into, don't you, Silas? Ripping that there.
Yes, I've written down 2 things, which by now are... When was WWDC? I think that was like on the 6th or the 5th. Yeah,
like I said,
5th.
Long we do this, more people are going to hear about things from us first and foremost, so don't feel bad about it.
So, Apple has had a conference which was like 2 hours long, a presentation. I didn't watch it because I was in France. Was I? Where's the fucking calendar in this? No, I think I was, yes.
That or getting ready to go to France. Either way, you didn't see it.
I only saw people's reactions to things on Twitter while I was already in France there.
Best way to pick up news.
There. The first thing, which I guess is the better of these, in my opinion at least, is Apple GPT. I hate the name very much. What do you think Apple GPT is? I guarantee you're wrong, Sod. What do you think it is?
Is it the glasses thing that I saw about?
No. That's what the second rambling thing is. That's the Vision Pro.
Then WTF is the GPT.
That's something completely different. WWDC, the Worldwide Developer Conference. That's where they show off.
Okay.
That's where they show, like, new technologies and things, not necessarily for end consumers, but for like developers, as it says in the D part of the DC. So Apple GPT is the game porting toolkit, which is, I guess that makes sense, that name. It's a dumb name, but okay, because it's GPT, like the AI shit. So on Linux, we have a thing called Proton, which is, I think, based on Wine, which is made, Proton is made by Valve, so you can play Windows things on Windows games specifically on Linux, and it works fairly well for most things.
Okay.
And this is the Apple version of that, because you can't play fucking anything on a Mac nowadays.
Unless you have, like, it's only just coming out with that? I thought that would be like out for ages at this point. Oh no.
They ignore gaming so much, like immensely. They ignore gaming like completely.
That feels downright ludicrous.
They like gaming things on iPhones and iPads and the Apple TV, because they get 30% of every transaction you make there in those mobile games. So that makes sense. But if you have, Steam on your Mac, guess who gets the 30% of that? It's Valve and not Apple, so who gives a shit?
They could have just opened their own storefront for what...
They have that. It's called the Mac App Store.
Yeah, but does it have actual games
No one
on
uses it. No one... There's a few. There's also the Apple Arcade thing. Actually, let's do an experiment. Where's the fucking App Store? There it is. Editing... Play. There's a play category. And mostly like Asphalt 9 and like matching type games. Like you get on a phone and cross the road. And I don't know, SimCity 4. That's cool, I guess, for €23. Among Us is there, obviously.
Yes, everything is Among Us.
Mostly it's just mobile games, but you can play it on your Mac now. They have Apple Arcade, which has 3 actually good things on it. Oh, I guess I get this for free.
Really?
Except three free months, okay? Apple Arcade. I've heard this about Apple Music, that you get that for free with an iPhone.
No, you have to put in like card details, and then like once the 3 months up, it will automatically charge you.
But you get it for free before that.
Just if you remember to cancel your card, but it's 3 months. Look what happened with Knockout City. It's, oh yeah, this is shutting down in a couple months. We'll remember, right? Sailed right past us.
Yeah, but this is okay. So $4.99 a month. I don't really care if they charge me once to remind myself. In 3 months. Maybe I should make a video about that. Yeah,
that would be interesting.
It really doesn't have a lot of things on it. I think there's some modified version of Team Sonic Racing, but only with Sonic in it or something. I like Sonic the Hedgehog Racing, whatever the hell it's called. And some things that you can find on consoles, mostly like indie games, but not a lot. Not a lot. So now they have GPT, which actually, when you look at it, uses stuff from Wine, from like open source Wine code, which is the thing that Proton is based on. And people don't like that, including me, because, yeah, it's open source. That means you can basically take it and do whatever the hell you want with it. But if you don't contribute things back to it, it's a fucking dick move. And apparently Apple have given back, I think, like 20 kilobytes of code, which is like basically nothing.
Yeah. So, is that a suable offense at that point?
No, because that's what open source is. You can just get it. That's what the license literally says. Anyone is allowed to use it and take it. There's like other things to that license.
I would assume, like, for coding, an open source license would also say like any like additions and improvement that you make to this code must be made public as well. Otherwise,
that depends on the license. Some licenses
I feel like that should be
yeah.
default, because that way we don't get stuff like we're getting with Apple here.
Let's see. Is it... What license is this? Probably MIT. Which means the MIT license is like 4 lines or 8 or something. And it allows you to do everything.
That's bad.
There's other ones which are like really long and go into detail of what exactly you can do and what you have to do. Okay, it's LGPL. Okay.
But let's probably not should be the case for all of them.
Much. Let's not get into that.
Yeah, that's getting into the weeds a bit.
That's like really bad things because it's really long. Not bad in like actually bad terms, but not good for a podcast. So people are upset about that because, they've just taken shit and like they've changed the name and I guess put it into macOS instead of Linux. Sure, that's some work. Okay. That's understandable. There's a fly next to me. I don't know where it's going.
But of course, like any changes they've made are not going to be shareable.
Yeah, but also apparently it doesn't really matter because YouTubers and people have tested this already and it's not very good. The problem with this also is that it takes x86 architecture code and then it has to translate that to Apple Silicon ARM-based code.
Oh.
And then it has to take that because it's like DirectX code for Windows APIs and then translate that into Apple's Metal API bullshit because they don't use standard things, obviously not. So there's multiple layers, layers of translations going on. Whereas on Linux, it's DirectX to Vulkan, and that's it because we have x86 based computers on Linux.
Ooh, that's
performance kind of sucks. Depending on the game, you can get like really high FPS. Like you can only go up to 60 because it's always locked to VSync for some stupid reason. But you can get 60 FPS on some games, but on most, it seems, at least on more complex games, it seems like it's going to be at like 10 to 15. Which actually brings us around to the point that this is not for consumers, which I think is the bad approach. Proton it's in Linux, not in Linux, it's in Steam, and the developer doesn't have to do almost anything to support Proton. You just tell Steam, use Proton for this game. But this is specifically called Game Porting Toolkit.
Oh.
So I think what they want you to do and how they presented it is that developers are supposed to use this, see how their game runs on a Mac, and then give them motivation to port it properly.
God almighty.
And anything that relies on game developers to put in more effort than they need to is very much unlikely to succeed. Does anyone remember SLI using multiple graphics cards in your PC? That was a thing. And then NVIDIA changed it, so the game developers have to implement that on their own. And now it's dead.
Oh, that seems like a bad change. That seems like a real bad change.
That's just one example, but there's many things where it's, okay, we could do this ourselves, and it would be great for consumers and for developers too, because they don't have to do anything, but then we have all the work. And we don't want to do that, so let's just do a half-assed job, and then let the game devs do it on their own. It's good that this exists for now. It's good that they've started doing this. Maybe they want to make Macs more appealing to gamers. I don't think that's going to work because of relying on developers on implementing this properly, but we'll see. That's
one of the big problems there is like je ne sais quoi. Like gaming is such like an integral part of anyone who is that like tech savvy. They like enjoy some type of gaming. Maybe it is just mobile, in which case they don't care for it on the PC, but odds are a lot of them are going to, at some point in life, be interested in a PC game only available on like Steam or the Epic Games Store, and it's like just not going to work on Apple. It seems like just a thorn in the side that is going to keep getting poked again and again until they finally fix it. I just don't understand how they got to such a state. It just seems like ineptitude.
You look at Apple doing any kind of demo about games. Like they've done a lot of demos about augmented reality things on iPads and stuff. And they would get on stage and explain how games work, essentially, as if they have no idea about it on like themselves, and then assuming that people in the audience also don't really know. You can see that they have not really a clue, at least not the like managing type people, the people in power of doing and changing things.
That just sounds insane.
And that has been a thing for a long time. Like, I think even Steve Jobs, when he was still around, he didn't like gaming, like, at all. That I think there's quotes about him, of him saying things like that, but I don't know.
Good Lord.
Let's see if we can quickly Google something like that. Probably not. So there's a quote from John Carmack, one of the guys who worked on Doom, id Software things, do Quake. And apparently John Carmack once said Steve didn't think very highly of games and always wished they weren't as important to his platforms as they turned out to be. Oh, that actually seems like a Steve Jobs thing.
Yeah, that's not great.
And there's a whole like Facebook post apparently copied into this from John. That doesn't actually surprise me that it turned out the way it did, which is weird because literally in the 90s, Macs used to be where you played games just because Windows was shit and PCs were shit.
Yeah.
So it's changed.
And they rested on the laurels, and look what happened. Imagine if they just cared about it, even just like a thread.
What happened? Oh, Apple is the most valuable company.
On a technical level, but it's like overhyped. It's like Tesla being like incredibly valuable as well, making him the most rich person, Elon Musk, the richest person in the world. But then when you actually look at the details of Tesla, it's, this shouldn't be as high as it is. This is all just like hype.
But most of the money for Apple comes from iPhones, and from the 30% cut. Mac has been not a big thing for them, not a main focus since the iPhone launched. Basically, they used to only make computers, but that has changed.
Also, the iPhone is just a compact computer, and is what every smartphone is nowadays.
Yeah, but like desktop computing and laptop computing, and with a Mac or like a PC running Mac OS, I guess.
I dare say this is one set rambling topic has gone on 15 minutes. Time for us to bounce on to the Vision Pro. Let's be quick about it.
So that's the Apple, what they call spatial computing headset.
Oh, geez.
AKA virtual reality and augmented reality. There's so many terms. There's AR, augmented reality, VR, virtual reality, XR, which I think is like extended reality, and then there's mixed reality, and now spatial computing as well.
Okay.
Fucking make up your minds, people. I guess virtual and augmented, that makes sense. And then mixed, what's the difference between mixed and augmented? What's the difference between extended and augmented? Nothing.
Honestly, it's probably just augmented is some kind of marketing executive is like, no, that's not going to work. That's too nerdy of a word. Yet at the same time, augmented is just the right word.
I also like the word spatial computing, though, because that's what it is. That's what describes it for like the use case the most, I think. I'm not sure. I don't care. Make up your minds, people. What the hell is this supposed to be called? So this is a big deal? Not really. So it's going to be like, oh, it's just another VR headset. Why is this exciting? I don't think it really is. I think this sucks.
Yeah. It's just, here's Apple's version of the, PlayStation VR 2. Okay.
But like a lot better. I think this is the highest resolution of a screen that you can get in a VR headset.
It's Apple. That was to be expected.
And
they always do gimmicks like that.
Apparently, it has 12 cameras in it. So it has like the best tracking of everything, everywhere, of all the headsets, apparently, from the people who've tried using it. It has the weird, stupid, like, display on the outside. If you haven't seen it, it has like a screen on the outside where usually you just have some plastic or whatever. It has a screen where it will show like a wave pattern if you're in the VR mode. And if you turn on, it has a little like a digital crown on the side of it on the top. You can turn that, a crown like on a watch, little dial you can turn. And then you can blend between the VR mode and the like pass-through mode where you can see the real world around you.
Yep. And then it projects like a creepy thing of your eyes onto the screen. Not like your actual eyes, but like an AR render of it. What's it?
Yeah.
It's not showing like an image. It's just showing a render of it, which is way creepier.
It does like a 3D scan of your face somehow, apparently. I guess that's cool. Apparently, this is also going to recreate your body like very realistically if you talk to one other person in this. If you do an online meeting or whatever, you can see realistic versions of yourselves next to each other. But only for two people in a chat room or whatever they call it, because it's too resource intensive.
I will say, I just thought like every year we get closer to the plot of Sword Art Online. At some point, someone will release a popular enough headset and then take a bunch of people hostage with it. Every year we get that little bit
get his final
closer.
Plan, allegedly. No, not really.
Then he'll do creepy things with the protag's love interest. Is that in character for Tim Cook? I don't know. I don't know enough about him.
I don't think so. He seems nice.
That's always nice to hear that somebody is nice. Anyhow, much more to go into about this?
It looks
we kind of reach a consensus.
It looks like the whole idea for what people are supposed to use this for is like a replacement for a regular computer.
Maybe on the go. I did hear something about this from some people I watch Internet Today. They used to work for Machinima, if anybody remembers that from way back when. I barely do. But at the same time, I still carried over to watch them. Anywho, they did mention they used to have to go on the road quite a lot for various events and stuff and be making videos on the go. And if you're in that kind of field yourself, this VR headset that is powerful enough to replace a computer and just like project as big a screen as you need to edit, it would be quite useful to have something that's transportable. But that's always like a very niche use. How many people are going to actually need that?
It is mad powerful though, because it has the same processor in it as the regular computers. It has an M2 chip.
That does sound good.
It's like the one that you get when you buy a fucking like a full-size Mac and everything. And a special R1 processor. I don't know what the R stands for. Reality, maybe. Which is doing all the tracking and things. The other problem with this is not the problem. I think the main problem with this is that it has 2 hours of battery life.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I want to watch a big screen movie now. Put the fucking headset on. Oh no, the film isn't even done yet, and it's empty.
You better hope it's not an effing Marvel movie or what's it? Who's the one that Wes Anderson? There we are, Wes Anderson film. Oh, you're in trouble then.
Honestly, this whole idea of using VR headsets for general computing tasks seems really fucking dumb to me. I don't know. I'm looking at it's like 2D screen of a 2D website or like a spreadsheet or a video editing program.
No, like
that doesn't need to be in 3D space.
That inherently is very dumb. Again, the only niche use for this is like somebody that needs like a powerful computer that can make as many tabs and screens as you need to, but also be like incredibly portable. Again, like I said, editors on the road, YouTube creators and whatnot, or like anybody doing that kind of content on the road, having to go and meet the people and then edit these things and upload it from a hotel room. Because even then, like that point, the battery life doesn't matter. You're sitting in the chair and can have the thing plugged in. Like that seems like such a niche market that this is perfect for, but at the same time, it's like, who else is going to need this? Who else does this benefit in some way? Because again, like you said, they're very poor with gaming. The biggest appeal of VR is like gaming for most people, but they're not going to be on this.
Yeah. They also have pitched it for like business use, which is more realistic, I think, because it's $3,500.
Yeah, but again, ludicrous. Nobody's going to need to want this in the office. A computer with a decent mic is way cheaper, and it gets you the same or better results. And on top of that,
that's not fully true because they already use VR and AR things. They use HoloLenses. They use like Oculus stuff or Meta things.
Yeah, some people
already
are the executives who buy into the
and
fucking
like engineering
hype,
and design things. That's actually useful.
Okay, that's
architecture
like one
and things like that too.
One
I think car design stuff like that.
Yeah, anything like engineering and design, but like beyond that, it's engineering design, editors on the move. Who else is this like logistically really useful for? The point will justify the price.
Really anyone. Actually, I can think of someone, which is like people living in like New York or some shit, where you have a singular room and pay $2,000 rent for it. So if you don't have space for a big screen or big TV or whatever,
you'd have to spend nearly 2 months' rent to get the dang thing.
Yeah, but
you probably can't if you're living in a place that costs that much.
Once the pod home future has arrived, where your home is just a tiny little pod with nothing in it, maybe like you have a food tube where you get some dystopian like food goo out of or something, then this is going to be useful. I like it because
But will anyone be able to afford it? If they're living in the pod homes, will they have this?
Well, you can pay for it with your Apple credit card.
Will they have enough money in the bank to qualify for an Apple credit card if they're living in the pod homes? The pod homes seem a pauper's prison, just in a modern form. Anywho.
I like this because I think this is maybe the downfall of the idea that like, oh, technology can only move forward and only become better over time. To me, clearly, this is a kind of crap idea.
That's the issue. It's like a lot of the technological advances we can still do going forward, like at least in like the near future, aren't as novel as anything that came in the past. Because right now, it's any like major improvements while still allowing us to do better stuff. It's still basically the same thing we had 5-10 years ago. Whereas like and all the things that massively trying to pitch them right now are just like ways to augment and take you out of reality, so you can stop worrying about all the issues in your life. Because technology can't really solve that. It's mostly just legislation and laws that need to be changed to improve things. But that's not really happening, so
I think technology still moves forward, and I think we will see equally as wild things as the people in the past have seen. I think it just feels slower now because we live now. And if you look back at history, I think that's like a psychological thing, because you can see this and this happen. War, atom, energy, computer being invented, microcomputers
I will disagree about that right now, because again, this could be like big things in 100 years' time, but like what we're looking at in the near future is just, okay, again, another better graphics card that allows us to do more impressive things, but on a fundamental level is still the same thing as the last graphics card or the last processing board. Or
that's
so
what I mean,
though.
Don't look at near future, because those big advancements also didn't happen in the near future of the past. That happened across like 100 years.
Yeah, but like in any segment of 20 years, somebody starts off as a kid and then goes into the 30s. Over those 20 years, there's like big, noticeable, groundbreaking changes in technology and stuff that just wasn't there when they were a kid or wasn't as widely implemented, and it became standardized. Whereas when I think back to when I was a kid, it's like Wi-Fi was already on the way in. Smartphones were already on the way in. What else is like new from 20 years ago that wasn't there like before, you know? There kind of just isn't anything. We're just getting better and better versions of the same stuff we already have. That's why the novelty is going away. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks like over the next 20 years, we're just like, who knows, there could be at any point during that a groundbreaking change, a new piece of technology that completely changes everything that came before. But like right now it just kind of looks like we're just going to get an improved version of all the stuff we already have. That's why I was saying the novelty is gone, and they're just trying to supplement that with virtual reality to take you out of your shitty situations.
That's a very depressive way of looking at things.
Tell me.
It is.
But is it nihilistic, or is it just a pragmatic observation of the current environment? That's the real difference. Am I making it more depressive than it needs to be, or is just a frank assessment of the current situation depressing? That's a very important difference. One, I'm just being a sourpuss. The other, I'm just stating facts, and it makes us all feel sad.
I think probably both, actually both, because neither of us know the secret shit companies and people are working on.
I don't know. It feels like that's copium to a certain extent. Everybody wants to believe there's so much more hidden away, restrained from public life. But then we look at somebody was leaking classified military documents on Discord. That's a completely other story. But people just can't keep secrets over a very long period of time, especially in larger and larger groups of people.
That
would be necessary for a group thing. If there was the technology, somebody would have eventually leaked that. It's only a matter of time until they fail at keeping the secret. Who knows? I could be wrong. The secret could be dropped any day now. But I feel it's just copium from people who want to believe there's still something special and secret out in the world. There's some lost mystical island in Bermuda Triangles that's still explored to this very day, as opposed to the depressing thing. It's got a broad understanding. There's some very specific niche things that we still don't know and have to discover, but at the same time, it's not going to radically change our lives. Anywho, I think we should move on from that at this point. Do you have any closing thoughts?
I would like to try a Vision Pro. I'm not going to buy
I'd like
it.
to try it too, but
maybe I can't
afford it.
Maybe I'm going to rent one for a month for €300 or whatever the fuck it ends up costing then to rent one. Maybe it's really good. Apparently it is really good. That's what people say. Maybe it's more cool than current VR things. I have a Quest 2 from Facebook.
I will say,
and that seems shit to use for general computing. Because it's all tracking as wonky. You can't read things.
I will say, Apple products, the value are overinflated on the hype based around them. But part of that hype has come from they've just always been good, reliable, solid projects. I can't think of something Apple has released that's been horrible, just wretched out the gate. The iPhones have all been solid. The Macs have been solid, if more niche compared to your standard Windows PCs or Linux ones. Oh, poor Silas.
For now.
Yeah. They just release solid stuff, so it's not surprising that if they're choosing to unveil and release this, it's gonna be pretty solid.
Apple has released a lot of garbage things, but in the 90s, where it was shit Apple.
That's what I mean. Since it's become the most popular company in the world since released the iPhone. I can't think of anything spectacularly bad. Can't think of a time where they shit the bed.
They do this thing where they don't ever invent anything. They just take some invention someone else made and then perfect it. And they are good at doing that. Which is why Apple is still around and Handspring isn't, for example. Or, I don't know, some LG or random other companies that made phones before Apple did. And smartphones.
Yeah.
So, sure, this is probably going to be good. I want to try. I want to maybe make a video about it. But I don't think this is the future of computing. I can't see, my mum using this to look at Facebook.
Yeah, no, I hit the nail on the head of this earlier. It's going to be very niche, specialized fields, such as engineers, car designs, and stuff like that, where having a 3D model that you can quickly change and customize will be very useful. Or Genesis car editors on the go that need a very portable rig in order to edit stuff in hotel rooms. That's pretty much the market for this at this point. And those that are just for the hype or have so much money they're willing to spend $3.5K like it's nothing.
That's thanks. Fuck, I don't earn that much money. I like to impulse buy things, and often
I wish I had that much money.
Usually I'm happy with the things that I impulse buy. I don't know about this one because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
So that's it, though. Let's see what Sod has to say about
Well, this is going
Redfall.
this is moving out of rambling into our occasional special sections. And it's pretty much just going into some gaming news about Redfall.
Oh.
For those on Redfall, it's supposed to be an online, multiplayer looter shooter, though you can play by yourself solo, a la Borderlands. But the weird history about this, it basically got pitched by executives and pushed along by them, even though a lot of the devs didn't have faith in the project. And when Obsidian, or I believe, yes. No, Arcane, my apologies. Arcane got purchased by Microsoft. They were hoping some heads in Microsoft would cancel the project because they didn't have the vision for it in terms of like the gameplay mechanics. The art style is still good. It's an Arcane game. They're known for good quality there, but it's like nobody had faith on the ground level in the project, yet it was still pushed ahead, and it shows and feels like it. This game, released in a particularly buggy state, got a hot patch, but still was very buggy. I streamed it myself. I waited 3 weeks before finally streaming this myself, because there still wasn't a major patch at that point. And it was incredibly buggy. Just like a lot of things were going wrong, a lot of animations were going wrong. Eventually, I got a posse of vampires that couldn't be attacked, but weren't able to attack me either, just following me around towards the end of stream. So it's buggy and bad, but not quite 2077 bad. Not Cyberpunk bad. But it's not perfect either. And they finally released a patch for this game over a month after release, which at that point, it's like, what are we doing here? Why was this game not delayed by 2 months at the very least if it took a month and a half to fix it and make it into a workable state? And I looked up the word specifically for this, when I made a tweet about this. Like, one way or another, the broken state this game launched in will define it. It's just up to the devs to make it a resurgent story at this point. Even if it does pull its stuff together, it's like, apparently Fallout 77 has done that as well. 76, I should say. But it's still defined by the horde state it launched in. It's just how it's managed to pull itself out of that horde state. And the same is going to be true for this one. It released in a broken, unfinished state that was incredibly rough and also didn't have the passion or design behind it that a lot of other Arcanes had, to the point where the devs were hoping it would get cancelled by Microsoft. And it shows in the end product, and that will define it for the rest of its existence. Whereas if they just took the 2 months and made sure it was in a decent state to release, some people wouldn't have jived with it, said, okay, soulless shooter. But a lot of people would still have had fun with it and have positive things to say about it. But even now, the positive things are going to be framed by the horde state release in. But now we're getting into the circular part of my speeches, so let's ask Silas, what are your thoughts based on what I just said in the story?
I'm not surprised at Microsoft Bethesda having done a shit game. Reading them,
not Bethesda. I just mentioned 76 as an example. That it's Arcane. What's it? They did things like
they own Arcane.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I've looked it up right now.
No, at
least the game was published by Bethesda. I don't know if they own it.
Yeah, but what's Arcane? They also did things like the Dishonored and Prey and Deathloop. That's some of the biggest games that they released.
Arcane is owned by ZeniMax, which also own Bethesda. So technically, you're correct, but
different companies. Different companies owned by the same parent company that has now been bought by a different parent company.
One connection that I think we can make between this and the Apple GPT story is that people write that it's a shit Xbox version and also a shit PC port. How the fuck do you people think that game developers will use your game porting toolkit if they can't even take an Xbox game, which is just Windows in disguise on an Xbox, and put it on real Windows? How the fuck do they expect the game porting toolkit to work out? I've heard of this game before. I don't care. There's a category of things that I've used to play at some point when I had a lot of time. I don't have time, so I don't play this. I don't care. I'm not surprised.
I'm probably going to do another stream this Thursday of this just to finally see what the patch is like. But, like, again, it took them over a month after release. A lot of people went full doomer about the game after 2 weeks without a major patch release. Why did they release it in this state instead of delaying? It's just, that's entirely on management, pushing through, hoping it's magic for this whatever studio would pull the game through at the end, but it just doesn't. Like, so many of the worst gaming disasters have come about from piss poor management, not making the hard choices they need to make, and instead just trying to hope that things will magically pull together by the end. It is disgusting.
Steam reviews are overwhelmingly negative. That's not a surprise.
It's heartbreaking because, like, people working on this for years, and the game they released is in such a horrid state. Everybody hated out the gate, and then you have to get back to patching and fixing it after release. No. That's gotta feel terrible.
Yeah.
Like, a project you hate to work on needs even more work from you to fix it after release. The point where ideally people would get to take a little bit of a break. You have a skeleton crew that's rotating for people to come down after probably the more intense launch period and just coast on the game being good with a bit before you have to worry about DLC or the next thing. But no, straight after release, they have to work on fixing the dang thing. I just feel terrible for all the devs.
A great way to drain company and staff morale. Doing dumb shit like this. Having everybody's work go to absolute waste. Don't do that, people. If you run a company, don't do that. So, today we have 3 topics. I think they're all pretty stupid. Except for the last one. The last one is good. So let's start with number 1, which is not really surprising. Topic number 1 is from finance.yahoo.com. Only 26%. Only 26% of Facebook/Meta employees are confident in Mark Zuckerberg and the company leadership, according to a new report.
We need some Zuckerberg.
We need more like sounds for this. More, I don't know, sound, like just sounds overall. I need to put more things in the soundboard for this.
Oh, if you could make a compilation of the various jokers over the years, just laughing, cruelly laughing and mocking at somebody. Oh, that would be fun for like moments like these. Just press a button. 15 different voice actors playing the Joker and just start laughing at the same time. You got the Mark Hamill's Joker, the one from Batman Brave and the Bold, The Batman.
What a great name, The Batman.
It was honestly good. That was a very good show with a very unique style compared to a lot of the other Batman shows.
I think I've only watched The Brave and the Bold. I like that because it's really fun. Yeah,
that is a good one. That's Batman Camp done right. Yeah, I can't argue that. It's really enjoyable. I love the joke in that as well as the Batman. They're so good. They're so good. And the worst part is like everybody. This is a complete tangent. You keep this in, future Silas. Like everybody, like doing a basic. You keep this in.
Everything.
You keep this in, and I'll ramble about this.
Okay.
It's one rambling thing. Worst thing about the Mark Hamill.
One rambling thing. Put it in the section.
Yep. Is that basically what's part about Jonas Squad, everybody copying off of Mark Hamill's Joker, is they do it later into his career where he just stops like doing a full-on vocal performance is just psychotic Mark Hamill, which is still good. But like when his Joker is at the best is in the early years where he's like doing a transatlantic Joker, and nobody copies that. They just copy the manic Mark Hamill, which kind of sucks, you know? Like, it works when it's Mark Hamill doing that, but when everybody else is just copying that, and like the key characteristics of it, everybody like does from impersonation, it sucks. Especially when people are just like instead of just doing a unique take on that, like I would say with the Brave and the Bold and the Batman, those were some pretty unique takes, different from Mark Hamill. Whereas you get like the Harley Quinn show, and it's, oh yeah, the voice actor, instead of doing his own unique thing, is just hitting the notes you would expect to based off of Mark Hamill's Joker. It really sucks. Just make bold choices with the Joker. Give him strange accents that are still manic, but on just manic Mark Hamill, please. Anyhow, on to the story.
No, that's breaking news now.
I'm hearing you myself in your playback.
Break. Why? I changed nothing.
Oh, you wearing
I went forward again because I want to read. That's what happened.
Yep. There we are.
So that's breaking news. So I need to intervene in this because apparently YouTube has lowered the requirements to join the partner program.
Yes,
it's 500 subs now.
Yes,
not 1,000.
Yes. I just said this on stream recently. Look, halving that number.
Yes,
like with like super chats and memberships and stuff. Like you could be quite sustainable.
You don't
with
get
what's it? Genesis 500 people are regularly tuning in and committing to those things, and 1,000 just makes it a lot harder to do. Getting to that base of 500 is more realistic and sustainable. That's so good, so good. And then you get
500 subs, 3 public videos, and 3,000 hours of watch time, or 3 million shorts views.
Wait, 3,000? That's more. Actually, no, it's 4,000 right now. So
it's 1,000 less.
And how much short views?
3 million. I think it's 10 right now.
That's better, I suppose, but again, for like smaller channels, it's an absurd amount to ask for from smaller channels. Like getting a viral short for them. Recently, I got a viral short that was like 1.4K. I have my studio open right now. Subscribe to Sardashian Gaming and be sure to watch the shorts as they come out daily. The more people that do that, it's like a really huge help for the shorts. Having a baseline of people doing that means they're more likely to go viral. And when they go viral, I get more subscribers, which is so good for me because I'm currently at 340. It just refreshed and jumped 2. That's really good. Yay!
This unlocks channel memberships, super chats, and super stickers, and super thanks. But
those are also good.
Not the regular monetization, though. Not ads.
You know what?
Which is fine, because you don't get a lot anyways from regular ads. I don't think that's going to be enough to make a difference compared to what people would donate if they want to.
I would say like a more favorable split towards YouTube would be fair, but some amount of ads should probably still go to the creators if they qualify for monetization, but still unlocking all those other forms. And do they get access to YouTube Red benefits at that point as well? Because that could be very huge as well. Because, if you want to support smaller creators, having YouTube Red, even if you're like desktop and skipping ads normally, having YouTube Red, like,
premium.
Gives them a more premium direct cut. Like, a pretty big YouTuber I followed that's like very candid about this stuff did state that this about like less than 10% of his audience, even if that, having YouTube Red, can account for 50 to 30% of his revenue in a given month, which is massive when it's only coming from less than 10% of his audience, if that. Like, the 30 to 50% is hard numbers of the money coming in. But yeah, like, that small amount of people having YouTube Red can make up a huge amount of money for people watching. And if you're constantly watching a smaller YouTuber, honest to goodness, paying for the Red instead of watching the ads is way more beneficial for them. Do that. But do they get a cut of that? I was wondering. Anyhow, I'm only 160 away now, as opposed to way more
ads on the podcast, and like with the amount of views or ad impressions that you'll get with 500 subscribers, we have around 2,000, over 2,300 something subscribers on one app alone for the podcast.
Okay,
and it's really not a lot. I haven't sod the numbers yet, but we got an email. It's like, oh yeah, you've gotten paid for this month. I think we've had this for a month now, which is wild.
Yeah.
So I see why they wouldn't turn on ads for, or the ads are turned on, they're probably going to be
saying.
turned on, but you don't get
Well, no, even before monetization, like odds are people are still going to see ads on your videos, maybe to a slightly lesser extent than more viral channels, but still will be there. But that's why we're saying like more favorable split towards YouTube. You know, a little something if they qualify for monetization to form some minuscule baseline outside of the random fluctuations of your chats, your stickers, your thanks, all those super things.
That's not going to matter, though, compared to channel memberships.
Yeah.
Literally,
or again,
one
YouTube
person signing up for a channel membership is going to be more than you would make from ads. Literally. That's actually true.
I know that, but I'm just saying, like, pragmatically, if it's 80% YouTube, like, you should still give them, like, the 20, you know, if at that early stage. Once they start getting bigger, it goes a bit more
even less.
Like I said, once you get past 1,000 big leagues, then it's, you know, your standard. How much of is the split currently? Was it like 70?
55
30?
for YouTube for the ads, and 30% for YouTube for direct payment things.
Okay, 30% direct payment. That seems fair enough. I would have said 55% for the creators.
45 for the YouTube, yeah, 55 for the creator. Yeah, I got it wrong. I realized
that's dyslexic.
45 and 55 numbers. Is very similar numbers.
I know, but like you literally got the right numbers just in the wrong order.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. It's dyslexia.
Yeah.
Anyhow, then I 20% if like your basic monetization and then more advanced monetization once you get past 1,000 threshold. But also, like, it probably is good because, like, people are more likely to go viral once they are monetized because that plays a huge effect into what goes popular in the algorithm. It's like, no wonder smaller creators have a hard time growing when, like, monetization plays such a big part in what is able to grow and go viral on the platform. If something gets demonetized, it, like, all but sinks in the algorithm, which I probably shouldn't. Probably should have some limitations to various things if it's like pretty bad stuff, but most of the time it isn't. But yeah, it makes sense to some extent if it doesn't go as far not getting monetized. But like smaller creators not being able to monetize their stuff means, yeah, of course I'm not getting a lot of traction in YouTube. They're not putting ads on my stuff. They want to show things that have ads on them. Anyway.
I guess the catch with this is it says we are starting to roll this new level of YouTube partner program to creators in the US, UK, Canada, Taiwan, and South Korea.
And
we'll introduce them. We'll introduce early access across all countries where YouTube Partner Program is available over time. So at least it's not just the US.
Yeah, and but other places are coming out.
Now you'll just have to wait like one more month, and then you'll be closer to 500 anyways. So that's not that big of a deal, I think.
Yeah, those listening, do subscribe to the two YouTube channels mine. Thank you very much. And what was I thinking? I do live in Ireland, which has Northern Ireland in the UK, so that's always complicated when it comes to these things. Does Ireland also get in, but it's too small to mention? Or do they just like assume it as part of the UK? I don't know. Honest to goodness, it's such a hot mess sometimes.
I always like it when you play like a game or something, and it's like, choose your country. You click on Ireland, and it's like, United Kingdom.
Oh,
really yep. That's dumb, but I like it because it's so stupid.
It's going to land some devs in the future in hot water, but...
No. Nice. Yeah, it will. It absolutely will. Topic number 1 now, finally.
We already did the title for it.
We did the title, but as a refresher, only 26%.
Yeah, just 26% of employees at Meta have faith in the leadership, including Mark Zuckerberg.
And the article itself, or the summary that we have here, says, a recent internal survey at Meta, Facebook, as I like to call it.
Yeah, it's just Facebook. Let's fix this thing live, shall we?
Oh, he's going to delete Meta, is he?
Yep.
The disrespect for their dumb shit name.
Yeah, because they did it to change to the metaverse to make that the lead thing, and that's dead in a ditch. So,
is it though?
Yeah, I think they've stopped like funding it as much.
Yeah,
I think there was a story we covered about that. Kind of, if not dead, it's on life support, waiting for somebody to pull the plug.
It absolutely is. So, in a recent internal survey at Facebook reveals low employee confidence in in the company's leadership. Don't play
Are you
with
playing with a
things,
dice right now?
No, it's actually a screw.
I'm playing with some dice right now. That's some D10s, which I was doing for some new commands to get random numbers for. Let's see. That's a 50. And that's a D8, so 55. I grabbed the wrong dice.
This is what a random podcast this is.
Two people with ADHD do a podcast. How quickly can it go off the rails?
Oh, God. We should get a producer that also has ADHD and then talks random crap.
Yep.
That's more fun then. Only 26% of respondents expressed confidence in the leadership, down from 31% in October of 2022. Additionally, only 43% of employees felt valued. That's a big problem. I think that's even more of a problem. A drop from 58% in October. The low morale
I'd say they are equal levels.
Both is important, yes.
Yeah.
The low morale follows a series of layoffs, spending cuts, and strategy changes implemented by Mark Zuckerberg as part of his efficiency plans.
This is exactly what I mean. Like, Meta's basically on life support, and a lot of people were moved over, brought on exactly for that, and then it's dead in the water or on life support, whatever term you want to use. And people have been laid off for that. Spending has been cut for it. The strategies are changing right now because they're no longer the big thing over there. And a lot of people put years of their life into this project for it to go nowhere. And keep in mind, like, what was it? VR chat run by infinitely less people is in an infinitely better place because of just like good management, effective, good management.
Yeah.
Which the entire Metaverse project over at Meta or Facebook just didn't have that. They just said infinite money, infinite manpower, do the thing. But you gotta tell people how to do the thing. You gotta guide them, even if you do have infinite money and manpower. Or just hire somebody capable of doing that. But they seemed incapable of find said person or do it themselves.
So the last sentence in the summary here is, despite claims from Facebook that they are still focused on the metaverse, employees remain skeptical of the company's direction. Which we can see because they let people go from the metaverse division. Mark has commented on like the Apple Vision Pro, and he was like, oh, there's nothing really innovative about this. This is not things that we haven't tried before. Okay. Why aren't you selling that many then?
Yeah.
Why are you selling them at a loss? Why is nobody using your metaverse bullshit, your fucking Horizon Worlds thing?
Why didn't even the people working at your company want to use this then?
Yeah. Yes. I did like where he said that they are focused on connecting people using this, whereas Apple basically exclusively showed people sitting alone in a room watching big screens in VR. In their demos or in their videos.
That's the point. Like, you can't share a headset with somebody. You'd have to buy more than one for the share screen.
Mark's point is, you will use the metaverse thing instead of a Discord call, which is bullshit too, I think, because that's way less convenient than pressing a call button and then we can talk to each other.
Yeah, I don't even think people are going to do like AR things.
Need to put on a headset, clear space. Yeah, and then stand up, and I guess that's cool that you can do that, but it's not going to replace a phone call or video calling.
To be honest, like even with the headset, I think most people are just going to do the basic Discord call without video, and then do other stuff at the same time still, either around their own house or the metaverse, metaverse VR things.
Well, we can see that that's what people use VR chat for.
Yeah, they have like chats going on in the background with various people without using any like advanced like VR stuff going on. They just do their own stuff and hang out with like people in the world doing stuff while also chatting to somebody on the call.
But that's what his idea is.
Yeah.
You get in the world and you can hang out and do things instead of going on Facebook. But I
feel
don't
like
think that
most
will catch
people
on that much.
getting the Apple Vision, that on again, very technical people, yeah, your editors, engineers, whatnot, are probably just gonna walk about the house doing stuff while having the headset on and being able to chat with people on the go with like more impressive audio.
It's like a version of headphones at that point. Because
Actually, no, because like
bigger.
the audio is like way better in those things. Apparently,
yeah, but it's made of metal and glass.
not
it's
really.
Apparently, really heavy.
Oh, is it? Hey,
People who I've watched a few things of people who've tried it, and they're like, yeah, it's more heavy than you'd expect. Most VR headsets you can get now are made of plastic because it's some shit that sits on your head, but they've decided to use metal and glass.
Okay, let's move on to topic number 2, shall we?
Yes.
Topic number 2, Twitter is refusing to pay its Google Cloud bills. Platform reports. They're not paying any bills. They're not paying rent. They're not paying severance to the employees. They're just not paying any money they are legally required to pay. And they're going to have to pay even more in lawsuits. This is absurd.
Again, this would also be a good place to play either Joker laughing or something.
Yeah, compilation of Jokers laughing, yeah.
Or like the Price is Right theme, if that is what it is. No,
not really. That is an obvious failing. Like, an obvious thing that you could have seen coming does happen. It's like...
This isn't, though. It's money to save money. How do I do that?
An obvious end course of one's actions, Silas. Obvious end course of his course of actions that you could have seen from the very beginning and not engaged with it, whereas he's just doing a shit thing. I don't think that warrants the Price is Right music.
Okay.
That's not the kind of thing you use it for, but yeah. He's just not paying people.
I would still
he's just not
paying
people.
It's funny.
I don't know. Like you always gotta vary it up between the things. Otherwise, if you're always just using one, it becomes redundant. Anyhow, Twitter is reportedly refusing to pay its Google Cloud bills as its contracts come up for renewal, which could potentially impact the company's trust and safety team. Twitter has previously signed a multi-year contract with Google for combating spam and protecting accounts. The conflict between the companies has led to negotiations for contract renewal, but details on how it could affect Twitter's teams has remained unclear. Twitter also hosts services on its own servers and uses cloud platforms from Amazon and Google. Earlier, Amazon had warned Twitter about withholding advertising payments due to outstanding bills for cloud computing services. Well, yeah, no duh. If you're not paying us, we're not going to pay you. My God.
A weird situation to be in, right? First of all, who the fuck uses the Amazon ad services? I guess Twitter.
No, the Amazon advertises on Twitter for the product.
Maybe that. I thought they used the
Amazon. Not going to pay them.
Amazon does so many things. I thought they meant they use Amazon ads to integrate into Twitter, but I guess that could be true as well. Amazon ads.
What would they run that? Like,
it's
Google ads end up on every website, so everything goes to them. But what do they personally have to advertise besides just the personal products?
Amazon have a competitor to the Google AdWords, and I think to AdSense as well.
I guess in that case.
And it's actually growing wild if you look at the growth of that thing on its own. That's not something people usually know. People also usually don't know that Amazon is like the biggest web hosting company in the world, biggest cloud provider.
Yeah.
So it could be both. It's probably what you're saying.
Yeah, probably just like the advertising the Prime, promoting the tweets. They're probably just not going to pay that. Company that size, they probably like just took it on good faith and then will square up at the end of the month. But now, because Twitter's not squaring up at the end of the month, neither is Amazon. And I dare say the expenses for the cloud platforms is probably far greater than what they would get for the advertisement Amazon has been paying them for. So, yeah, that's not great. Anyhow, let's move on to topic number 3, Silas.
Number 3. Finally, a good thing. The United States moves to block Microsoft's Activision takeover.
On a technical level, it's a good thing, but also Activision Blizzard sucks, and I want Bobby Kotick to get ousted under the dang thing, and they're doing such terrible management over there that actually getting bought by Microsoft would be good for the products themselves, better leadership, but at the same time, yeah, it is Microsoft buying up one of the biggest gaming companies out there that already bought up one of the other biggest ones way beforehand, buying up Blizzard. So it's, yeah, it makes sense to be blocked, but at the same time, I don't think it's good for Activision itself, but good for the broader market as a whole.
This is a BBC.com article.
How lewd.
That's not true. That's not funny.
It is every time.
No.
Why is that fun? Is it's just subconsciously making you horny, Silas?
No, because it's a TV company. That's their name.
TV company that, unfortunately, due to the passage of time, now has a very unfortunate name.
That's true. That doesn't mean it's funny.
You're struggling not to laugh,
That's
so
not
I beg to differ.
No, that's not true at all. That's not
that
funny.
smile speaks different.
Okay.
The grin on your face says you're having a good time.
Yeah.
You're having a good time.
Yeah,
You're having a good time.
Yeah. I'm trying not to. This is a serious podcast.
Serious, big, something energy.
Yeah, I like looking at BBC.com. I'll take.
You have quite firmly stated your stance on anal. You're very for it, so this is unsurprising.
That's not true. That's not true. The existence of BBC does not impact me in anal enthusiasm, I guess, because I'm not the one taking it.
Selfish lover, then. Good to know.
Oh my god.
I will do this for as long as I can.
Yeah. The US Federal Trade Commission has asked a judge to block Microsoft's $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard, citing concerns about potential competition reduction in the video games industry.
Yeah, like I said, it's like good in terms of broader market thing. I'm not arguing that. It's just like Bobby Kotick and all the guys he has leading Activision and Activision Blizzard suck. They suck. They really suck. And they probably should be ousted. And this deal looked like the best way to do that, but now it's not happening.
We don't know that yet. Let's keep reading.
Yeah.
While the European Commission approved the deal, the UK's Competition and Markets Authority, the CMA, previously blocked it, emphasizing concerns about reduced innovation and limited choice for gamers.
Okay.
Microsoft and Activision Blizzard expressed disappointment and plan to appeal the UK decision. The trial in the US is scheduled to begin in August. The acquisition is crucial for Microsoft's effort to compete with Sony and expand its Xbox Game Pass service, which focuses on game subscriptions and cloud gaming. In a response to the announcement by the FTC, Mr. Smith, whoever the fuck that is, I forgot who that is. Who's Mr. Smith?
Check the article.
It's Will. Probably Brad Smith.
There we are. There we are. There's the actual quote is coming from.
Vice Chair and President. Okay. Yeah, so Mr. Smith, Vice Chair and President.
Yeah.
Welcome to the, what does it say? I welcome the opportunity to present our case in federal court, which is a mad executive style thing to say.
Yep.
In its attempt to persuade US regulators to allow the deal to be completed. We believe accelerating the legal process in the US will ultimately bring more choice and competition to the market, he added. he imagines that going as beyond me.
I literally said it at the start of this, based on the title alone. Good for the broader market that's been bought, but like people, myself included, very hopeful that Microsoft buying Activision and getting in charge of all the subsidiaries and whatnot would lead to a better course for all of them. Because right now, the way Activision's going is terrible. Have you seen the microtransactions? Not even microtransactions at this point. In Diablo 4. It's, oh yeah, here's $20 for a $20 skin. Enjoy. It's absurd. Truly absurd. Microtransaction has become a misnomer at this point as well, because it's, oh yeah, pay us like $2 or $3, bit by bit by bit. But like the $20 for a single skin, it's like, what are you doing? What are we doing here?
We're not gonna know what the outcome of this is until a few months. We'll definitely cover if this gets updated again, because we always do.
Yes. Yeah, it's been unfortunate. Like, I shot that one straight from the hit as soon as I saw the title, and it's yeah, pretty much just that. Nothing else major to say about this.
Yeah.
So I believe it's time for us to wrap up at RIP. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening to this episode of Uploaded Tech News Commentary.
Yes.
Be sure to follow the podcast/YouTube channel's link tree, as well as our own personal ones. Huge help, especially as the new update to YouTube monetization 500. Huge help for me. But yeah, do all that good stuff, and be sure to tune in next week where we'll have a new episode. And if you haven't already, listen to some of our previous ones. Who knows what you might learn. Have a wonderful day. Ta-ta, auf Wiedersehen. Until we meet again. Bye-bye.
Send us an email, uploadingpod@gmail.com.
Oh yeah, and give us all the reviews, give us the likes, the reviews, all that, the 5 stars.
And send a boost with comments as well.